Hello, aspirants. I guess you're all doing really very well. I am here, Harpreet Singh, who's going to discuss a lot of important things with you. Most importantly, the question that comes into your minds, what is that question? What is that thing that the toppers, or the people who qualify this examination with such ranks, are doing and you are not doing? This is a very obvious question that is going to come in your minds. That is why, students, I'm specially here for you to discuss all these things with you. We're going to discuss, we're going to study over here what are the strategies that should be done. And after that, I'm going to take your questions also. So stay calm, and focus on what we are going to discuss today in this live session. Very important for you. What is the topic? How do the top 1% strategize? Know the truth. Let's begin with today's very interesting session. Okay. The first thing that comes into our minds is a real look into the emotional, academic, and the strategic aspects of UPSC. Many aspirants believe that. Now, this is the biggest problem that the aspirants face. You believe that if you have mastered a subject, or if you have done all the subjects and you have the command over the subjects, you will qualify this examination. Just tell me one thing, students. Had this been a reality, do you believe all those who are doing PhD, all those who are masters of the subjects, all those who are the professors of various universities should have been bureaucrats? But what is the reason that separates the people who qualify this examination and the people who may not? Please remember, let me make it very clear. If you're still dealing with this particular examination, the Union Public Service Commission Civil Services Examination, academics form 20 to 25% of the total preparation for this examination. What you do is you focus completely. Okay, this is the examination. Study, 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 study. What are the other aspects that are associated? Are you focusing on them? Let us take an example. I say that you are an aspirant who's studying really hard. You have been a topper of some university, let us say IIT Delhi. Now, supposingly during this course of this preparation, you come across situation where you come across events that lead to some form of anxiety or depression. Can you just imagine that in that particular case, in spite of being so brilliant, in spite of studying so hard, because of that particular emotional trauma, that whatever be the reason that you might have underwent, you might face a lot of challenges while you are appearing for this examination, and it is quite possible. It is really quite possible that many students are not able to qualify, though they have been brilliant. So please remember, it is not only about the aspect of academic. It is also about the emotional aspect. Next thing is strategy. Now, please tell me one thing. Supposingly, you as an aspirant, very motivated to the fact that I'm going to prepare for this examination, and you prepare a timetable that is 18 hours a day. Now, just tell me one thing. You are a human being, or you are some motorboat who's going to strive, who's going to just sail across some lakes? You're a human being. You're not some motorcycle, Royal Enfield motorcycle that we start, give a race, and you keep on riding. You're not that. Remember one thing, when you strategize for this examination, how you are going to study becomes equally important. So there are three pillars over here. First, the academic part. Second, the emotional part. Why have I kept emotional part? Second, please remember. In fact, I can keep emotional part first also. Why? In spite of the fact that you might be academically very sound, you might have strategized, but the moment we complete with the session, I will be answering all the queries that you have. So stay with us, watch this session carefully, and see what are the intricacies involved in this particular session. I'm live with you today just for you so that your queries are resolved. Let's begin. Okay. Now, let me say one more thing that is very interesting. There's a topic here, year-long consistency. But this examination is different. It is not difficult. Why did I say that? I said this examination is different, but it is not difficult. Why people perceive this as difficult is because they say there is a stage known as prelims, there's a stage known as mains, then there is a stage known as interview, and then the result, whether our names are going to come in the final PDF or not. That is why people think that this examination is very difficult. No. Please remember, bache, let's take an example. If you're doing engineering, do you realize in your every semester you will be reading close to 4 to 5 subjects? Now you have 8 semesters. You have read close to 40 subjects. You have read subjects that are much larger in size and content and volume than even your civil services examination. But do you realize this? The problem that arises, people think, is this examination is a whole year-round process. So now, what is important here? Please understand this. What is important here, bache? That when you are beginning for this preparation, let us say 1 year or 2 years before you give the paper, you are beginning with the preparation. Important is being consistent. Now the question comes, we will be dealing this consistent part later on also. What do you mean by being consistent? I'll give you an example. Supposingly, there is a candidate who says, okay, I'm going to prepare. He or she has made a timetable where that particular candidate, let us say, starts preparing for the examination. One day, the boy or the girl studies for 10 hours. Oh, that's momentous. Great that you have studied for 10 hours. You've dealt with so many things. Next day, the candidate says, sir, today also I'm going to study for 10 hours. I said, great, good. Next day, sir, it is very difficult to study for 10 hours. I said, Bache, what happened? Sir, first 2 days I studied for 10 hours, that's fine. Now today I studied only for 6 hours. Third day, I said, Bache, did you study? Sir, actually my friend's sister's cat actually got lost. So beta, what has that got to do with your preparation? Sir, I am also I'm a citizen of India. It is my duty to search for the cat. But that means, do you realize, because of that, bache, then how many hours did you study? Sir, I was only able to study 4 hours. Next day, sir, I went on a trip with my friends, so I did not study for 3-4 days. Now, what is the aspect that you see here? One day you're studying for 10 hours, other day 10 hours, then you are studying for 6 hours, then you're studying for 4 hours, and then you are not even studying. This is the major dimension which basically invites failure. I am not telling you to study for 10 hours, 12 hours. You have a routine which we will be discussing. Let us say you have certain classes which you are attending. After that, what is important that you study, self-study. Let us say you're doing the self-study for 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever be the duration. You continue with that. You continue with that system throughout the year. That is more important. Let me tell you one thing. Even while I was preparing, on the worst of the days, I'm telling you something. There were durations and times when I used to study certain subjects that I never used to like. What used to come in my mind? You realize that I wanted to tear the book. This was the feeling in my mind. This is what I used to feel. Can I tear it? It is so boring. But did I actually do this during the preparation? No. Why? The reason behind it is because I knew why I'm preparing for this examination. These thoughts will come, but in spite of that, you continue with the preparation because you know this examination is important for you. That is what makes you a consistent human being. You are stuck because, see, remember one thing in life. When the mood is good, when everything is good, it is very easy to study. Very easy to study. Everybody can study. The challenge comes when the mood is bad, situations are bad, conditions are not favoring, you are still studying. You're still following the routine. That is what makes an aspirant cross the line and be a bureaucrat or come in those top ranks. And if you really want to do this, again I tell you, be consistent during your preparation. Do you understand? Or everybody over here, right? Do you all get this? What I'm saying? Being consistent. Okay. Now, that is why consistency and discipline throughout the year becomes really very, very important while you are preparing for this examination. Okay, my dear friends, all the candidates, let me see the comments also. So there are a lot of students here. Okay. Great, great, great. Lot of students. Please remember, we will be answering your queries also. My basic expectations from you would be, listen to this very carefully, and whatever queries you have, at the last I'll be answering them, right? Okay. Now see over here, clear purpose for motivation. Now please remember, there's a new trend that is going on. right? Borrowed purpose. Now you'll say, sir, what do you mean by borrowed purpose? But say borrowed purpose is a thing that yours was not your purpose. You borrowed it from somebody else and you made it your purpose. And that is why you realize there is some dilution of the reason why you're preparing for the examination. Let's understand why. Supposing your friend is preparing for the examination, you see him and you ask him, what are you doing? He says that I'm preparing for the biggest examination of the country. I said, okay, why? What is that examination? He says, civil services. Okay, this will give you this. It will give you status. It will give you prestige. Okay, let's prepare for this. Without even analyzing what are the aspects associated with it, you simply borrow it from somebody else and start preparing without understanding what are the requirements for this examination. Next thing is going on. Today is a time of social media where you realize that people are all the time exploring what? The reel shot. And they realize that various videos are made where a bureaucrat is coming out of his car and the videos will be made, oh, the grand entry, and you get motivated because of that. Do you realize those are clippings from various aspects which have got nothing to do with the civil services? You are not going there to flaunt your cars. You are not going there to show your ego. You are going there to serve the country. So what was the real reason why you actually are preparing for this examination? Find the reason for yourself. Whatever be the reason, find a reason that is suitable. That is your own reason, not somebody else's reason. What you do is, oh sir, the best thing over here is, sir, the issue of some reels. So the reels showed me this showed me that, and you basically adopt that thing as your motive. Please remember, when you people say, sir, we're not able to know, or let us say we are demotivated, some issue has arisen. If you have a genuine reason why you are preparing for this examination, you will continue and be consistent in your preparation. Do you understand that? You will be consistent in your preparation if you have a genuine reason why you're preparing. Not these things. I want just a government job, or you just want to do the same thing that I saw the reels. Sir, wonderful car, white color car with a beacon over there. That is why. But see, these things, remember one thing. If you qualify this examination, after a few years, if you get into a car where the beacon light is there, after 1 month, you will say it is something normal. Is this why I was preparing for? You should have bigger reasons. Improving the governance, working for the people, resolving the problems that people encounter, challenge the system to an extent where you can bring changes which are positive in nature. Find such reasons and prepare for this examination. I'm telling you, and I'm guaranteeing you, you will not be in a case where every day your mood swings are going on. Do you realize today's time, when we generally talk about, we generally associate, when I'm teaching anthropology also, we basically talk about menstrual cycle and all, we talk about mood swings. In one of the previous lectures also I mentioned, now today's time, mood swing is not associated simply with one sex, it is associated with everybody. Why? Because one day we want to prepare for something, other day we think, why are we preparing? Because you do not have a genuine reason, these things will come. Find a genuine reason. This is the most important thing. Clear? Let's move ahead. Real strategy. Now the important thing comes is the real strategy. Please remember, when we talk about the real strategy, the structured routine over here, there are 3 components over here. The 3 components under the real strategy. First is the structured routine. Please remember, everybody over here who's attending the session, I'll ask you something. When you prepare your timetables, are you preparing an idealistic timetable or a practical timetable? That is the most important question here. If you want your routine to be structured, please remember, right? Real strategy, when we say structured routine, what is the most important thing? The most important thing is your timetable pragmatic or idealistic? What does that mean? Supposingly, you are making a timetable that is 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. In that particular case, can you imagine, will you be able to manage your efficiency throughout the day? It is not practical. So are you making a timetable that is practical or idealistic? Most of the cases, what happens is, you prepare your timetables which are idealistic in nature, then you keep impossible targets which you are not able to fulfill, and then you get demotivated, and then the anxiety creeps in because you have set targets which themselves are impossible to fulfill. Now take an example, please understand. There are two techniques of studying. One is the Japanese technique, one is the Indian technique. There were a lot of studies done in the anthropological aspects which basically explain that. Let us say what we Indians generally do is, supposingly we have not been studying for years or let us say few months, the day we begin our studies or whatever the preparation be, we try to create idealistic timetable that first on the first day 18 hours, 15 hours or 16 hours. Now this is the technique which we generally observe among the students who are preparing for this examination. So this is the biggest problem. Now let us take the technique with the Japanese follow. The Japanese do. Japanese say that, okay, let us assume that you are preparing for an examination or whatever be the thing. It requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of time. So let us begin with few hours. Let us say the target of 2 hours or 3 hours in the initial phase. Once you have achieved that, let us make the target 5 hours or let us say 6 hours. Once you have achieved that, then increase it. Slowly, when you increase the momentum, you are able to achieve your final goal also. Otherwise, when you create idealistic timetables, it becomes really difficult for you even to qualify this examination or even the prelims for that matter. Clear? Okay. Next, another thing is, when I am talking about structured routine, it is not only about your studies. It is also about your health. What do you mean by health over here? Please understand. Supposing you are studying a lot, you're giving a lot of effort for your preparation. It is also important that you have a proper sleep. There is no such routine of 18 hours. Please remember. Keep your targets. You want to study something, you might complete it within 2 hours, you might complete it for 4 hours. Do not go into the system of these 12 hours, 16 hours. Obviously, when your exams near, by default, those duration will increase. Be very practical. So, along with it, having a proper sleep of at least, let us say, 6 to 6.5 hours becomes very important. Otherwise, whatever you are doing here, you will not be able to fulfill that. So, please remember, keep it in your mind, along with academics, health plays a very, very important role. Clear? Let's move ahead. Next is balanced preparation across the subjects. Now, when I talk about subjects, please remember, it includes the various subjects that are present in your general studies, prelims and mains, along with the optional subjects. Now, what you generally do is, many students have an aspect of studying multiple subjects in a single day. Let us assume, I've seen students who are studying in the morning economics, after they're studying geography, then they're studying history, then they're studying optional. What happens by the end of the day is, you're not able to achieve or study any subject properly. My advice would be, please remember that. Optional is one subject that you have to keep it with yourself and be very good at that. So that is something that you will study every day. Then maximum of 2 other subjects that you can do. One subject which is little bulky or let us say little difficult, other little lighter. Let us take an example. Supposingly you are studying a subject, say, let us say ancient India or modern India. These are little bulky subjects. You can take a lighter subject also, let us like environment, and then your option. What this basically does is, this basically balances your routine of the subjects that you are studying. Or if you're taking classes, what is being taught to you, you can continue with that subject or some other subject that you have been studying and then the optional. This is a 3-subject formula that basically has helped various aspirants. If you feel, no sir, I'm able to study 2 subjects only, 1 optional, another subject which is going on, then it is also fine, but generally it is advisable. Otherwise, 2 subjects will take a lot of time for you to complete the syllabus and difficult for you to revise also later on. So 3-subject formula is generally the best thing that basically works for you. Do not over pressurize yourself with multiple subjects, which is basically done by a lot of students. And then what happens at the end of the week or end of the month, they see, so we are not able to remember anything. I've studied everything, but I don't remember anything. Why? Because you are studying so many subjects. How can you remember them? That is why when you're studying this 3-subject formula, you're able to revise it, you have the time to revise. Clear? Okay. Let's move ahead. When we are basically talking about the next part is practice will actually, how will you actually perform the exam? Please remember, let me make it very clear. If you would have heard of Usain Bolt, he has a world record which he created in 2009 of 9.58 seconds, which he was able to complete a 100 meters race. How was he able to compete? That was that race, particular race in 2009 Olympics, was his first race that he was running. But you remember, before an Olympic comes, for 4 years, every single day, he was practicing, 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 and practicing. Now, do you realize only practice? No. It was practice, proper health, proper nutrition, proper thought process, and that is the reason he was able to achieve that goal. There were many other athletes across the country, or for that matter, across the world, who were also doing various things, but they were not able to achieve that particular target. Why? Because the practice that Usain Bolt had put in, not only the practice and the other dimensions which I mentioned, the health, the right mental thought process, something was unique to him, and that is why he was able to achieve that goal. Similarly, when you are preparing for this examination, please remember that. Let us assume you're preparing for the preliminary examination. Just tell me one thing, if you want to qualify this prelims, what is the nature of preliminary examination? The nature of preliminary examination is that you will get multiple choice questions, right? That is how you qualify prelims. Let us take that phase. Just tell me one thing, you are studying certain subject, let us say polity, geography, history. How many of you basically attempt or do those multiple choice questions practice? How many of you do that? Many will say, sir, let the course be finished completely, sir. Then we will try. But the reality is the people who have qualified, they are also not perfect in every subject. Let us assume you have completed an NCRT. We just completed with a geography session, right? The Indian physical geography. You would have studied those things. Let us say I taught you the subject of topic of climate, vegetation, and soil. How many of you even tried that? What questions have been asked in the previous year preliminary questions or the mains question examination? Did you even try to do that? Merely watching the lecture is not going to help you, because practicing what is required in the examination becomes important. So those candidates who actually practice, let us say, let me take prelims. Let us assume you've done with a subject or done with certain chapters in a subject. You practice certain questions. Best thing is, best sources, what are the previous year questions? Wherever you are studying, even the internet is full of lot of MCQs. There are a lot of websites. Even Physics Wala provides that. Then next step is, let us assume you are nearing the preliminary examination. What was my strategy? Please remember, today's time, students find it very difficult to qualify the prelim examination. I'll give you one strategy. Note this very carefully, all those who are preparing for 2026 also. When in my first attempt, I failed in my preliminary examination, I realized one thing very categorical, that I had studied everything, but I was not able to implement them during my examination. There were certain loopholes. What I did is, in my next attempt, I made sure that I'm going to attempt as many mocks that I can. I attempted more than 100 mocks. Now you'll say, sir, why this 100 mocks thing you were saying? The reason is, when I've attempted so many mocks, every kind of question, every kind of possibility that can come is being practiced. It doesn't mean that the question will be repeated. No. It makes my mind work in a way that I'm able to make an intelligent guess during the preliminary examination. What happens generally when you're preparing for the prelims or giving the prelims, you realize you're able to remove two options, but two options are remaining. And at that time, you mark the wrong option. Getting that option right is a constructive guess which comes out of practice. If you do this, prelims, you will be in a better state to qualify prelims. When I come to mains, now please remember, preliminary phase was one phase where you had to just mark circles and get the answer right or wrong. In the mains, you have to write the answers. You have GS papers, you have essay, you have compulsory paper, you have optional paper. Again, if you assume that simply reading the content what teachers are teaching you, you can qualify this examination, then it is something that is very difficult. Now, many people have an opinion, sir. Some toppers told me that it can be done. But you remember one thing. Exceptions are not examples. If you can give me one exception that one candidate said that he did not write an answer, I can give you other all toppers who said, yes, answer I think is important. So do not go with the exceptions. If you yourself are an exception, which you might not know yourself, then it is fine. Otherwise, if you're not an exception, please remember that for any average student, it requires a lot of answer writing practice. What you can do is, let us say, I cannot say that just merely by when you started a subject, you start writing answers. It is not possible. Let us assume you've completed one chapter. When you are doing some MCQs also, see what questions have been asked in the mains examination. Try to structure it, try to write it. You might get them wrong. They might be the worst of the answers. But remember one thing. Before you write good answers, you will be writing bad answers. You will be writing the worst of the answers. But the one who writes the bad answers will slowly improve and write good answers. But it requires you to write the answers. Without writing an answer or improving in them, how will you reach the stage of those few minutes within which you have to analyze and write an answer? That is why please remember one thing very categorically. Today, supposingly you write an answer, it takes you 1 hour to write an answer and the answer is dismal for that matter, bad. But say you made an attempt. Next time you show to your mentor or a teacher, sir, this is how can I improve? The teacher or mentor will tell you, better, this is the way you can improve. Next day, you will write an answer, you will remove those mistakes. I always tell candidates, please remember, make as many mistakes that you want during your preparation. As many mistakes that you want. Because when you make mistakes, you will have a chance to improve. And remember one thing, always make new mistakes. This is the biggest mantra. Do not repeat your mistakes. If you are repeating your mistakes again, it is a crime. That is why we always tell, learn from your mistakes and do not repeat the mistakes. Commit new mistakes. Why? Because when you commit new mistakes, you learn. You improvise on those things which might not have been covered. That is why do mistakes, no problem, but during the preparation, so that when you are giving that examination, during that examination, you commit the minimalistic or the minimal number of mistakes. And that is what makes one person, the top people, different from the thousands of others who are preparing for this examination, but find it difficult to qualify. They are no less capable. They are equally capable. They have equally worked hard. But certain ingredients which are required by the people who qualify this examination are something that were not done by those other 99%. This is what is required, Bachchan. Yeah. Now, please remember, along with it, when you're writing the mains examination, for that mains examination, before that, you need to practice a lot of mains. Let us say daily answer writing practice. Then later on, once your speed and your, let us say, command over the subject has come, later, then you do the various, let us say, mocks, full length mocks, section wise mocks also if you want. Remember, if you want to follow the routine, which I'm going to tell you, Bache, I'm going to answer all the queries after the session. Don't worry, I'll answer every query. Every query. It is my promise. Remember, what you can do is, the first day when you are attending a lecture doesn't mean that you start attempting the mocks of prelims or mains. Let the topic complete, analyze, study the subject, and then do the prelims questions or the mains questions that you want to write. Remember that. You will commit mistakes, no problem. Improve on them. Improve on them. This is the way you basically get to your goal. To continuous improvement. The cycle is again little boring, but again, it is very fruitful when you get the result. Okay, let's move ahead. Next is information preciseness. You can't study everything. It's impossible. You must pick and choose. Please remember. Let me give an example. When you read the newspaper, I always tell the students in my matches, whether I am teaching geography, whether I am teaching anthropology, whether I am teaching some other thing of society, I always tell the candidates that, let us say, read the newspapers. Now, does the newspaper reading mean that you read every advertisement, every decision making, or every article that is mentioned? Supposingly, you're preparing for the civil services, and that particular section, they are mentioning that a bride is wanted. This is the color, this is the salary that the bride's characteristic should be. But you are preparing for civil services, you do not have to see the matrimonial advertisement. Once you qualify this examination, then your target should shift towards matrimonial advertisement in the newspaper. I've seen candidates who spend 20 minutes looking at all the matrimonies that are coming. Oh, sir, see, these are the characteristics that are required. Better do not waste time on such things. You should know what to study and what not to study, and who helps you here? The role of the mentor and the teacher comes in. That is why when you read the newspaper, there are not everything that you have to read. What do you have to read then? Beta, if you have your syllabus of civil services in front of you, if you have the syllabus of UPSC in front of you, you know what the syllabus is. Keep on revising. Let us say you read the syllabus once, when you're free, once or twice a day. You will be remembering that syllabus after, let us say, few months. When you're reading the newspaper, supposingly, there's a concept of welfare schemes mentioned in GS paper 2. Now you realize in the newspaper, a new scheme has been launched for the welfare of, let us say, tribals. You know that very well that this thing is mentioned in GS paper 2, UPSC can ask the question. That is why, with respect to newspapers, and for that matter, generally also, you should know the syllabus of your GS and your ops. Next comes with respect to subjects also. But please remember, for every subject, let us say history, geography, economics. Let me take an example of geography also. I was teaching you in your YouTube sessions. Let us take an example. But remember, today if I say how many geography books are present in the market, millions will be present. When I say how many books for civil services geography, thousands and thousands will be present. Do you need to read all? Do you need to read every aspect that is present in every book? No. What is important? First is do the foundation, that is your NCERTs or something that is being taught to you by the teachers. Have a command over it. You cannot study everything. Do you understand that? Any candidate who has his or her foundational knowledge strong will be able to build on that and be able to interlink the stuff. That is why we always say, revise rather than reading 10 books one times. Read one book 10 times. You will be able to remember it also. You will be able to analyze also, and you will be using the interlinking, you can write any answer. So please remember, come out of this belief system that you need to read every book that is present in the market. That will be the biggest error that you can ever do. Clear? Let's move ahead. Okay. Mentorship. Now, this becomes something very important. I'll tell you something. Why mentorship is important. While I was preparing, I was studying on my own. There were various mistakes that I did because I had no one to tell me what to do. And that is why there were a lot of things that I could avoid. A direction could have been given. Which, what sometimes happens is that if you do not have someone to mentor you, guide you, you might go the wrong path. That is what the Indian culture also talks about, the gurus. The gurus are the ones who tell you what path you should follow. That is what is the role of a mentor. The mentor tells you, "Bache, this has to be done. This is the way you can do it. This is the other way you can do it. This is something that you should not do. And this is something you should always do." These are the things that mentors tell. Supposing you're writing an answer, they can give you a feedback. "Bache, what has to be done? This is something wrong that you're doing." That is why mentorship as a whole becomes very, very important. Mentoring the children is one of the biggest duties that is present today's time, I believe, because you are guiding someone's life. That is why, please remember, personalized feedback. Many people prepare alone and they become directionless. Let's take an example. I say that if somebody is doing self-study, no problem. Okay, it's your wish. But let us assume there are certain students who assume that let's prepare for civil services examination, and they start preparing and reading books, and you realize after that they are in a stage they do not know what to do. That is why mentorship becomes important, which guides you. Let's move ahead. Emotional stability. This again, and I already mentioned, becomes a very, very important aspect. Family pressure to settle or earn. Mental health issues often ignored. How many of you here, honestly tell me, write it in the comment sections, are in a state of pressure, anxiety, or having issues of depression? Tell me, honestly, all those who are attending the session live, many of them are watching the live, many of them going to watch the recorded session. How many of you are facing issues of pressure, anxiety, and depression because you are in a state where your parents are telling you, "Beta, this is the time. If you do not qualify, you will have to do this. You are the only hope who can basically change the situation of our family. If you do not qualify, what will happen?" If you are a girl, your parents are saying, "If you do not qualify, we'll get you married." And you want to do something in life. How many of you are facing this problem? This is a major thing you are facing. Many people at their houses or homes are in a condition where their parents are not working. They're not earning anything. And you have a responsibility to carry forward. Along with it, you want to prepare. I've seen married women who are being ill-treated by their in-laws. But the girl wants to prepare and the father-in-law, the mother-in-law doesn't want the girl to prepare. But there are a lot of problems. I see so many candidates. See, Rajkumar Prasad ji, Rakesh, Pankaj, all those people are mentioning, yes sir, we are facing this problem. Bete, remember one thing. This is a major problem that you basically come across. It is not your history, geography, anthropology, or those things that challenge you. Yes, they are subjects, but this is something that basically can make you directionless because you do not know what to do in that case. But you remember, first thing you should accept is yes, in every sphere of life you will face challenges. Important thing over here is managing it. Here, I'll tell you something. I was talking to the mentorship team at PW. They told us a unique statistics which they gave me. I said, when you call candidates or they call you or request you to call them, what are the major type of queries that the students mentioned? Do you realize what was the statistics? 53% of the candidates mentioned that they are related to stress or anxiety that the students are facing, not with respect to the subject that they want to ask. They want to ask, we are facing problems of anxiety and depression. Again, over here also, bache, you need someone to guide you. Like when the mentorship team is a very unique thing. When Alak sir came across the statistics, Alak sir said the mentorship is there to help them in this regard also, because mentor means not only who's going to tell you that this subject is right or wrong. No, the mentor is there to tell you, bache, this is how you can change these aspects which can basically resolve your problems, and that basically helps to reduce your anxiety also. So please remember, first thing is accept the fact that there are going to be challenges. Second, work towards resolving your problems. Third, if you have a mentor, talk to the mentor. Fourth, believe in yourself. There's a very good phrase or idiom which I always use. Believe in yourself and trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust your mentor. Trust your mentor and trust your process. What do you need to trust? You need to trust yourself, you need to trust the mentor, and you need to trust the process of this preparation. If you trust them, I'm going to tell you, things will come in line. That is what changes a life. That is this statement. In fact, I remember I talked to many candidates in the offline and online session, and they've told, sir, when we deal with these things, when we have faith, yes, we can do it. When we trust the teacher, yes, the teacher will guide us. And when we believe that if we're going to do this, yes, the process will also get right and take us to the right place where we can qualify this examination. You realize for yourself that things will come in line. Realize this. Realize this. Remember that. Okay. What the 1% do differently. Now, please remember all these things that I mentioned right now. All these things, right? When I mentioned right now, is what makes that 1% different from the other 99%. Many of you would still, this is the point where I started the session. I said, what is that 1% people doing what the 99% are not doing? See here, they have clarity and structure. They are very clear about it, that I want to achieve the goal. Many of you here will believe that, yes, we want to qualify this examination. I'm proud of you. You have taken this decision of qualifying this examination. That is itself a big achievement. Molding your mind to qualify this examination means 50% of the task you have already done. The next 50% is what you have to do via this. I told you about consistency and discipline. See, remember, daily discipline and consistency. Please remember, I always tell the candidates that there is no need for motivation. Motivation is nothing. Now you'll say, sir, you are going against the trend of the reels which are there to motivate you. Beta, if you need the reels to motivate you, then why are you preparing only? Beta, motivation is inside. It is not something that you can borrow from somebody else. It is inside you. From where does this thing come? Please understand. First, get out of this fraud of motivation. Now, sir, you will say, how can we continue our preparation? Beta, I told you earlier, find the reason for your preparation, a genuine one. which is your own, not a borrowed one. Second, in spite of the fact that your mood is bad, you are in a state where situation not favoring you, you follow the routine that you want to do. That is discipline, and you continue this discipline day after day, day after day, day after day is consistency. So, having a clarity, those who qualify this examination are the ones who have the clarity with respect to this examination. What this examination demands, what is the syllabus. If you do not even know that, when you're preparing, obviously you are bound to face challenges. Next, I told you daily discipline and consistency. Now the third thing. People say, sir, I have read a particular book. Let us assume Lakshmikant Polity. Let's take an example. I told bache, okay, you have done polity. Beta, how many times you have revised? Sir, one time I have studied and revised it. Beta, one time you will remember that book. Sir, but this is how I study. Maine bola, bache, this will not work. Remember, your success is directly proportional to your revision. Please understand. See here very well. This is your Masuri. This is your Labasna. LBSNAA. Right? As I teach geography, so it becomes easier to explain by this. Right? So this is Masuri over here. Then you have this Dehradun, Doon, and then you go down, you have the plain area. Right? Remember, you are standing here. Beta, if you want to reduce this distance, this will be done by revision. If you do not revise, this distance will even go further. The people who revise are the people who are able to recall. Now, how do you do it? Please remember, when you are studying a subject, let us say any optional subject or GS subject, the book you are studying can be a macro note for you. When you read it 2-3 times, you can make short notes out of it. Those are micro notes. Then you can further reduce them into nano notes for your revision. Whatever be your strategy, it is up to you as a person, the way you study. I'm not going to impose you the methodology of study, but I can definitely tell you that for you to recall, notes are always useful which are made by you. The revision becomes absolutely important. If you want to reduce the distance, how many of you want to reduce the distance from the place you are to this Labasna? See, that is why it's done through revision. Next is mock practice and feedback. Now remember, let's assume I told you about the prelims. Let us talk about mains also. Supposing you are writing your answer every day. Okay, better than those who do not write. But bache, are you writing or going in the right direction? Are you going in the right direction, or you writing something that is not expected? Let's take an example. A candidate who is in class 12, he is told to study mathematics for 5 hours, and he writes a table of 2, let us say, for those 5 hours. He is doing mathematics, but is he doing what is expected from a candidate of class 12 to do differential and integral calculus? No. Will he score good marks in his board examinations? No. Because though he is doing mathematics, but he is not doing what is required. That is why, please remember, you need to focus on the goal or the target. Not here, here. Goal. If you focus on this goal, for that, giving the mocks, getting a feedback, improving. Giving mocks, again, you realize that you will get a feedback, improve. Please remember, it is a cycle. See here. You give a mock, you get a feedback, you improve. You again give a mock, you give a feedback, improve. What happens after this is, please see. You will realize that this is the most boring process. Mock, feedback, improvement. But beta, what will happen is, let us say that time is passing, and let us say this is I improvement. With time, with every mock, this slowly the graph will rise. You will reach a stage which UPSC expects you to. That is why those candidates who say, sir, we will not write mocks, so the last once we have qualified the prelims, we'll write few mocks and we'll qualify. Sir, my academic record has been good. Beta, this examination is different. It requires everybody, irrespective of your background, whether you are IIT, IIM, or whether you are whichever school you belong. This examination levels everybody. Had this examination been favoring somebody, every IIT and IIM candidate would have been IAS. No, they're not. That is why, please, consistent practice of the mocks is required. Yeah. Handle failure, stay flexible. Please remember, when I failed my first prelims, when the result came, I ordered an pizza from a Domino's, and my mom, my dad, and I sat together, ate the pizza, and drank tea after that. Now you will say, sir, what are you saying? This situation is not possible for every candidate, but this is where you handle your pressure. The one who can handle, but the one who handles the pressure is the one who's going to succeed in the future. The one who hasn't seen failure will not see success also. Some exceptions who see, some exceptional people who might see success in the first attempt might in later stages see failures which they will not be able to manage. That is why you see many candidates who qualify the examination might even leave the jobs because they're not able to handle the pressure. That is why please remember, handling the pressure of failure is what makes you strong. It is that which guides you throughout your life. It is that which basically molds you to be better human beings. It guides you to be the person who's going to change the nation after a few years. So if you cannot deal with failures, my child, it will be very difficult for you to run this country also. So please remember, failures will come. You will have problems, but what is important is rising again. Muhammad Ali, the great boxer, said once, it is not how many times you fall. It is not how many times you fall. It is how many times after falling you rise and again you fight. So now if you want to be that person, be like Muhammad Ali, where you rise, again fight against your enemy, which is your UPSC right now, and defeat him by qualifying this examination. Right? Let's move ahead. Okay. Having studied all this, when I was talking to you all on all these aspects, with regard to this, Physics Wala has also brought a very important session for you with respect to a new batch of Titan 4.2, that is in English. Many candidates say, sir, that most of the content that is delivered in today's time is in English, combination of Hindi and English. I always tell the candidates, bache, if you want to give the paper in English, but you want to listen in English or Hindi, isn't that a paradoxical situation? Yes or no? I always tell the candidates, if you want to give the paper in English, you should be listening to English also in order to improve it. See, let's take an example. A child is born. Let's say a child is born. If a child is born in India and another child is born in the United States, or let us say United Kingdom. In India, let us say after a few years, a child itself will be speaking in Hindi. The one in United Kingdom will be speaking in English. How did the child learn that language? Because the child was basically listening to the language which was spoken around him or her. That is why when people say, sir, how can we basically improve our English? Bache, when you want to do everything in English, then you want to write an examination in English. Seeing that gap that was present, particularly the students who want to prepare in English medium, this is a new batch that is being launched, that is Titan 4.0, that is exclusively in English. Now, I am one of those faculties who will teach in this batch. I am one of those, right? You would have seen in the YouTube also that I was taking the lectures of geography. Over here also I'm going to teach. That is why we say if you want to improve English as a medium which you're going to write, you should study also in English. So this batch basically is a Titan 4.4 which is being launched. So let's see what are the dimensions. Please see. Titan 4.0 is for 2026 over here. It is an English batch which is basically starting from the 22nd of July 2025. Because as per the vision of Physics Wala, where most affordable education should be given without compromising any quality, the prices have been reduced to 10,999, where people can afford it and they get quality education from the best of the faculties that are available. Next, see here, Titan 4.0 GS Foundation course, comprehensive coverage, which basically includes the dimensions of prelims, mains, and the interview at this cost. Now, please remember, we are not here to compare with anybody else. We are here to deliver you the best. With the vision of this man, we are here to deliver the best what the candidates are required during the phase of the prelims, the mains and the interviews so that you qualify this examination. We are going to be dedicatedly involved in teaching you, mentoring you, guiding you. A sample has been, you would have seen in the PW Only IS English channel itself. My session of geography finished. Soon you will be seeing the history session. Then again, next part of geography will be coming and so on and so forth. We are the ones who will teach you even in more detail and the intricacies involved in the various subjects. So every single concept, every single topic is clear in your mind. So that when you're giving your paper for your prelims or the mains, you do not find any problem. That is what our goal is, right? See here. Now, know your teachers. Please remember, all these teachers are here. Okay, my photo is over here. I am one of those youngest ones, so I'm not, I cannot say anything about me. But again, you have great people like Kapil Sikka sir teaching your polity. You have Ritesh Jaiswal sir, science and technology, Vikas Alavat sir, Abhishek sir, Dimple ma'am, and me also were here to teach you. So we are here, right? We are here to teach you as a team to deliver our best so that you all get the best quality at the most affordable prices. Remember, quality comes first. We will never compromise with any quality with respect to our teaching and with respect to what the requirement of the student is. Right? Now let's see further. Titan batch, what this batch basically involves. Many candidates, or rather I would always tell candidates, unless and until there is an emergency, I expect candidates to basically watch the session live. Now, it is quite possible that people, or let us say due to some emergency, or they have certain other, let us say, issues involved, they are working, they can see the lectures in a recorded format also. Session will be streamed in the live format. Recorded lecture is also present in the app, which you can access anytime and watch anytime, any number of times that you want. So now you have the flexibility with you. Over here, this batch has the answer writing classes so that your writing skills are molded to what the examination requirement are for the mains examination. Yeah. Now, next, CSAT classes. Now, this is a very important ingredient when you see the prelims. Many people find it very difficult, sir. CSAT is a tricky part in the prelims. But we are giving you the CSAT classes also here by best of the faculties so that you do not find any problem during the process of your prelims. Please remember one thing. Let me make it very clear right now. Many people say, sir, what all you have said is right. Now, you will make us qualify. But no. We will never say this that you qualified because of us. We will never say that. I have many candidates who called me, sir, we are giving the mains by anthropology optional. Sir, we like your geography section in this. Please remember, you might like it. We are there to guide you, hold your hands, but it is you who will qualify this examination because you are ready to work hard. You did what was required. You followed a structured routine. You did the practice. You had a right state of mind, and that is why you qualified. We will never take the credit from you. No faculty from PW will take the credit from you. You will qualify. But remember one thing. We will always be there holding your hand. As your mentors, as your guide, as the people who want you to be successful in life. That is what our goal would be, right? Now here, daily MCQs, mains questions over here are again integral part. When I said daily MCQs and mains, did I mention that if you do not practice, you will face problems? So within the Titan batch, you will be getting the daily MCQs and the mains questions that if you do them regularly, you are already doing what is required for this preparation, that is integrated manner. Weekly current affairs sessions, you realize that we have a wonderful faculty that is Nikhil sir. The irony is that it is not that I know him from the time he joined Physics Wala. We know each other from many years before Physics Wala. And he himself is like an elder brother to me, very dear to me, and he's the one who's taking your weekly current affairs. Brilliant teacher, brilliant person over here, right? Next is regular doubt session. Please remember, we will be there for you to take the session doubts regularly in the class. All those who have taken my sessions also, you would have seen that I continuously keep on talking to the students, whatever their problems are. Yes, we have to limit our doubts to what is being taught. Then after the class gets over, we discuss a lot of other issues, but we are there to resolve your issues. Next. Titan Select 360, right? Please remember one thing that is very, very important, right? Titan 360 over here is very important. A very integral part also, and something that you should understand the importance of it. Titan batch is what was mentioned over here, right? Titan batch is offering you all of these things. Then there is a Select 360 part. What are the extra things that the Select 360 part basically offers you, which you can take? Select 360 gives you a dedicated mentorship. That means, obviously, we are there to solve your queries in the classes also, but then you will come in your mind that, sir, we need someone whom we can talk to while, like during the course of our studies, we cannot all the time talk to you or call you. We need some dedicated person to help us out. You get the dedicated mentorship under the Select 360 program, which is in addition to the normal Titan program that you have. Prelims and main test series are included in this. Daily answer writing with evaluation is included in this. Trigen mains program, which is a flagship program to thousands of candidates have basically been successful using this program. UPSC Khazana, where the previous lectures of the faculties are available, which you can access. Set of 24 UPSC wala books, hard copies will be delivered to your houses as the address that you give. NCRT recorded lectures will be given to you of all the subjects that are there for your civil service examination in English. Interview guidance program will be for you included in this. We'll be guiding you through the interview also, so that you basically sail through all the 3 stages at one go, right? Next. Now, this is a different, but you see, Titan 4.10 includes these part which I had mentioned. The extra things that are test series, Khazana, books, recorded lectures and all are included when you take it along with 360. So Titan 4.0 is 10,999. When you buy it along with Select 360, it is 17,999. So please remember, we always tell it is, we always there to give the choice to the students that these are the extra things that you're giving. And please remember, this is the most affordable thing that is available in the complete market for a very specific reason. We will never compromise with the quality. Along with it, we will never do any injustice to the students. That is what the vision of Physics Wala is, right? So this is what are the aspects which are associated over here. Now, schedule for Titan batch utilized Monday to Saturday, the classes will be there. 1 lecture a day of 2 hours duration each. Now, live GS lectures will be delivered in English language by the senior faculties, as I had already mentioned. Now, another thing that becomes important is, let me make it very clear, right? Right, I'll be mentioning that also, Akshita. The moment I complete with the session, I'll be dealing with those questions also. Now comes another part that is very integral for your preparation is, that part is your optional papers. When you're giving the mains examination, please remember, optional is regarded as a make or break scenario. If you select the correct optional, you will be able to get better marks, and it is like a rank maker. Physics Wala offers few of the top options present over here. Let's see them. Anthropology in English, PSIR in Hindi as well as English, Sociology in Hindi as well as English, Mathematics in English. Along with it, we have Public Administration in English, Geography in Hindi and English, History in Hindi and English, and Hindi Sahitya obviously in Hindi. Now, these are the subjects that are offered, which are guided by the top faculties across India, and these are present with Physics Wala to teach you, guide you, and mentor you to achieve your goal. This is being offered to you at a price of 9,999, right? Let's move ahead. For you, in order to see how the classes are going to be, there are going to be 2 free classes for you on 22nd of July and the 23rd of July, which you can see, watch and experience how the batch is basically going to be, how the faculty is going to teach you, and that will basically lay a foundation for your course when you see, or let us say, use it as a guiding line for your preparation. Let's move ahead. Now see, PW only has various batches that are there. You will be realizing Titan 3.0, 2026 utilize, then Prahar 3.0, you have Prahar in Hindi 3.0, Sankalp batches, Sankalp in English also, Pinnacle it is for 2027. So all these batches are basically present for you. Whatever suits you more, you can definitely use that. Many people want to prepare, let us say in English, it's absolutely fine, provided you do what is required for your preparation. Many want to prepare in Hindi medium, absolutely you can do. What suits you is there. English is also a segment which many people want to prepare in English. We are welcome. We are always there for you. Right? Okay. Now, tech and app support becomes very, very important here. Many people say that, sir, that we are studying through online medium. So by default, tech support becomes important here. Please remember, technical or any problem that you have, you will be seeing that when you go through the app, there are a lot of sections that are present here. Within that section, you realize you can go through all these points that I mentioned. If you have any problem, you can contact the team. If you have any doubts, you can basically go through these things and definitely be useful for you. Then over here you realize how can we help you. Over here you realize there are payment related issues, app related issues, subscription issues, books and batches. If you have any problem, you can just mention them. The team will be there to help you out in any problem. We are very quick to respond so that the queries of the students are resolved. And then you can basically, let us say you click on a particular option, then you can say whether it is related to some amount, payment related issues, some EMI related issues, whatever be the problem, you can resolve it to the app itself. Please explore the app also so that you get to know what are the offers or the whatever options are being present to you. But many students do not know, so they keep on mailing the faculties also. So I'll expect from you that being mature enough that you're preparing for this examination, go through this app. The team has done a lot of effort to make your education convenient and affordable and reachable and accessible to every candidate, right? Okay. So contact us. If you face any problem, anything, then please feel to contact us on the PW app. You have this I am Mitra, again, something known as AI being used over here, where you can chat. If you have any problem, we are there to help you through the artificial intelligence software also, right? Okay. Now, whatever I had to tell you is something that I've already discussed. There are certain other things which I'll be discussing with you. Now, see here. Everybody over here, all the queries that you have, I'm there to answer them. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Some smart work and timetable. What I'm basically, please remember one thing. Over here, hard work cannot be basically substituted. That is important. Smart work means using your resources very effectively so that you're going to deliver or can deliver your, let us say, efficiency to the best of your capability. Do that. Time management, students have said, please remember, there is no one size fit all strategy. What is important here is that what suits you, what time is available, utilizing them and managing them properly. Test yourself. Let us say if you want to, you can complete a particular section in, let us say, 5 hours, but you're allotting only 1 hour for that. That means that you're not managing your time properly. See what is your efficiency and according to that, basically schedule things. That is what is expected from you. Any other query you have? Okay. Somebody saying, Anshika is saying, so please help me out. I have revised also attempted MCQ, but still not able to revise some major subjects. But you not able to memorize, please remember, it's a very wrong concept. Let us assume, I'll give you an example of geography section which I took. Let us say you have the PDFs with you. Once you have gone through the lectures, you've understood, that is the first thing. Second thing is, when you read it once or twice, do not focus on memorizing, focus on understanding and conceptual clarity. When that is done, make short notes out of it and then revise it, because in order to remember it, you need to make short notes. Yeah? Okay. Then, okay, take a session on how to read UPSC wala books. Yes, bache, we will be doing that session also. I'm in class 10, how to prepare. Ankit, the basic thing will be focus on your school education right now. You cannot basically substitute that. Please complete your class 12. When you come to the college, over there we have the Prarambh batch where you can be guided along with your graduation. So you can subscribe to that batch. But right now I will request you to focus on your class 11th and 12th because it's a very critical time, right? Okay. So thank you everybody. I guess I've answered the queries also. It was wonderful talking to you. Remember that you keep on seeing me on the PW Only IS English channel. I'll be there with you in various other sessions, whichever you demand. You will be seeing the various lectures also coming up, and we are going to be there with you, help you, guide you, mentor you, hold your hand and take you through the journey of the civil service examination. God bless you. Take care. And at the last, as we always say, Jai Hind.